Hey guys, I hope you're all doing really well. Today I'm going to be updating you on my 1 month 2 palette series. This is a series I started a couple months back, so this is the third video in this series. And basically the idea of it is that I take 2 palettes from my collection, try to make progress on them, make a variety of looks using them, and get to know my collection, get a feel for the palettes, and then the next month I rotate in 2 new things. So I'm really excited to share with you guys the 2 new palettes I'm going to be focusing on. But before we hop into the video, I just want to quickly say you may notice a difference. I hope you do at least. I actually purchased a big ring light, so hopefully the lighting is much more even. Hopefully my image is quite clear. I also picked up a little lavalier or lavier, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, little microphone. So I'm really hoping that there's improvement in the sound quality. If you guys have any suggestions of improvements that I can make, please let me know. I want to work with the technology that I already have. I don't really want to invest more right now just because it can get quite costly, but yeah, please let me know if you guys notice anything and want me to make any sort of improvements. I would love to hear that because this is just so new to me and it's so out of my realm. So let's just hop right into it. I'm going to share with you guys the palettes that I focused on last month. That was the NYX Ultimate Brights palette. This is a 16 pan bright eyeshadow palette with a variety of finishes, and this was new to my collection, so that's why I wanted to focus on it. And the other palette was the Klara Cosmetics Paris eyeshadow and face palette, and it is this neutrals palette right here with a gold toned highlighter. And this was just going really pretty much unused in my collection. I had it for a few months, but I wanted to focus on it more. At the beginning of the month, I was so happy working with both of these palettes. I felt really inspired to play with the cooler tone neutrals in this one and then with all of the brights in this palette. However, over the last week and a half or so, I didn't find myself drawn to either of these palettes. To be quite honest, I was really disappointed with this one, so I'm happy I put this in the project or the series at the beginning of owning this one, because now I really know how I feel about this palette. There are some decent shades in here, but the pigmentation does not translate from what you see in the pan. And I honestly found myself struggling with this entire row right here. I was really disappointed by every single one of the blue shades, and I don't know, I'm not always drawn to blue, so that's not a big deal, but I wanted to obviously try to get use out of every single shade in this palette, and I found myself just basically reaching for the pinks and purples, the coral and more terracotta kind of shade, and then the yellows, and being really disappointed every time that I tried to work with the blues. I had issues with patchiness, I had issues with blending, it was just troublesome for me, and I just tried to avoid using that row basically, which is really disappointing because that's a quarter of the palette, and I would love to be able to get use out of the entirety of the palette. And like I said, the colors don't really show up as they look in the pan. I had a really big issue with this one here. I feel like this would look so much more fluorescent on the eyes, but it ended up looking quite orange instead of coral and bright. And so I was really disappointed with the way that this palette performed. I still am quite happy with having the variety of shades in my collection, but this is not what I thought it was going to be, because I've heard Jay Kissa talk about how amazing this is as a drugstore eyeshadow palette for bright shades. I've heard her say that several times, so I was really excited because I know that Jay Kissa works with so many amazing quality eyeshadows, and for her to really recommend this multiple times was huge, I feel like, and I was a little disappointed. As for this palette, I definitely found myself only really reaching for it when I was using it in conjunction with the NYX Ultimate Brights. I didn't actually reach for this palette on its own very often at all. It's just something that I didn't find myself getting inspired by. However, the highlighter shade in here is amazing, and I wore this highlighter so many times on the inner corner, on the brow bone, or of course on my cheeks. But I didn't find myself reaching for the palette otherwise, in case I just needed a transition shade for the NYX palette that was really it. I didn't really find myself drawn to the shades in here at all. And that's because, as you guys know, like I had my bright purple hair. I just wanted to be like flashy and vibrant for the majority of the month. But maybe in the fall time, I'll roll this back into this series and I'll be really drawn to like the bronze and the softer, cooler toned transition sorts of shades. Maybe I'll find myself more drawn to them. I would love to keep this in my collection because of that highlighter. And I do think this is a good quality shadow palette. I just really am not drawn to it at the moment. So I'm a little disappointed that I chose these two palettes to work together because I wasn't really happy with everything that I created. So on the screen, I'll share with you looks that I created over this past month. Obviously, this isn't every look that I created, but these are the ones that I found really special and ones that I was really happy with. And you'll notice that they are kind of all within the same tonal family, pink, purple, and neutral. And that's because that was like the easiest things to create a look out of when I was going to work. I didn't really want to fuss with the blues and the greens in the NYX Ultimate Brights palette, which is really disappointing. Yeah, I am happy with a lot of the looks that I created, but I am really excited to move into new palettes, that's for sure. And with all that being said, these are the two new palettes I'm going to be rolling into this series. I'm really excited about having both of these palettes in this series, and I feel like I can create so many looks with these two palettes. The first one I've had for about a year in my collection. It is the Colourpop Yes Please palette, and you guys can see it is very well loved. This is a warm toned neutrals with a couple pops of color, but it is primarily a neutrals palette, and I'm really excited to get a feel for this one again, play with it again, because I haven't reached for this all that much over the past 6 months or so, at least. Yeah, I haven't reached for it much in 2018 at all, actually. So I'm really excited to refamiliarize myself with this and just play with all of these warm toned shades, because last month I was doing a lot of cool toned looks. So I'm really excited to switch it up with this. And the palette that I'm going to be using in conjunction with the Yes Please palette is the newest one in my makeup collection. I purchased this at the very end of June, and I'm really excited about it. It is the Masquerade Mini by Juvia's Place. And you guys know this palette. I feel like everyone knows what this looks like. If you don't have it in your collection, you still are familiar with it. It is a colorful palette with a lot of neutrals as well. And it's 16 shades. These are gorgeous. I haven't had a chance to play with them a ton yet, but I'm really excited to really just jump in and play with this for the next month. I'm really excited to be playing with this color palette over the coming month. I feel like there's such a good variety of colors as well as a good variety of neutrals, and these palettes complement but also contrast one another, and I'm so excited to switch up the tones that I'm playing with. I am wearing this palette, or both of these palettes, on my eyes today, and this is a crazy look. This is not something that I'm going to wear, I think, ever again in the month. It was just something I was playing around with today. But I feel like I can create so many looks in combination with these palettes, and I'm really excited to switch things up. The pigmentation on both of these is bomb, like so good. I'm so excited about this. I actually have been using these two palettes for the past week or so, and it's funny that I didn't just update the project, but I wanted to make sure that I wanted to use both of these for an entire month so I wouldn't be disappointed like I was last month, where I just felt myself getting uninspired. And so I have already been using these for quite some time. I'm really happy with the looks that I've come up with so far, and can't wait to share with you guys at the end of the month the looks that I create in the next 4 weeks with these two, and let you know my thoughts on the Juvia's Place palette, because this is newer in my collection, but so far I am loving it. I definitely have a feeling, based on those picks, that this is going to be my favorite month in the series so far. I'm really excited to just play with all of those colors and play with the formulas. I think that these are both beautiful palettes, so I'm really excited. I'm feeling inspired by this project again. I felt like the last couple weeks I wasn't so inspired by it, and yeah, I'm really excited to share with you guys the progress that I make on them, and to let you know my feelings on both of the palettes, and to show you some more looks that I create. So yeah, that's everything for today. Thank you guys so much for watching and hanging out with me. So definitely let me know down below what you guys think about my palette picks. Let me know what you think about the audio and visual quality. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.